In behalf to all my classmates, student and instructor, Ma'am Jill Rosador, I'm here to present about the lesson 4. So here is the sequence of lesson 4. First is Bureau of Correction, RA 10575. Next is Security and Control of Prisoners. Next is Care and Treatment of Prisoners. Next is Release of Prisoners, Good Conduct Time Allowance of GCTA. Next is Prohibited Act, subject to disciplinary action. Next is BGMP, which is RA 6975. Next is Public Act 9263. Next is Treatment of Special Needs of Unusual Offender. Next is Emergency Plan, Movement and Transfer of Prisoners and Detainees. Next is Privileges of Detainees and Sentenced Prisoners. Next is the Regional Rehabilitation Center for Youth. Next is the Child and Youth Welfare Code. The next is the Death Row. Next is the Rule on the Right or Amparo. So first, we'll tackle first about the Bureau of Correction, RA 10575. So the Bureau of Correction. So the Bureau of Correction, article number of 2013, May 28, 2013, President Benigno Aquino III signed the Bureau of Correction Article number of 2013 of Republic Act number 10575. So it seeks of modernize, professionalize, and restructure of Bucor by upgrading and facilities, increasing the number of its personnel, upgrading and level of qualification of their personnel, and standardizing their base of pay, retirement, and other benefits. So, under Republic Act number 10575, operating the prisons and penal farm should have dormitories and administration building, security fences of hospital and recreation center, a training center, and workshop center in a visiting area. So, the mission and vision of the Bureau of Correction. So, mission, effective safekeeping and rehabilitation of national prison. So, the vision, improving national prison, conducting to the reinforcement and rehabilitation inmates that will bring them back into the mainstream of the society as useful citizens of the country. So, the Bucor mandate. So, first is safekeeping of national inmates, including dissent. So, next is reinforcement of national inmates, so which is the moral and spiritual program. Second is education of training programs. Next is work and livelihood program. So, this is very important. So, next is sport and recreation program. Next is health, welfare program. Next is rehab, behavior and modification program. So, the professional reforming personnel, correction technical officer are personnel employed in the reinforcement program, and those personnel whose nature of work required proximate or direct contact with inmate. So, decrease of custody of prisoners, super security. So, first is super security, intended for a special group of prisoners composed of incorrigibles and dangerous persons who are difficult and managed for being the source of constant disturbance in the maximum security institution. So next is maximum security. Is for habitual troublemakers who may not be as dangerous as the super security prisoner, and they wear orange region uniform. So next is medium security. So So it is medium security is for a prisoner for prisoner who may be allowed to work outside the institution under the guard escort at they wear blue uniform. So next is minimum security. So it's for a prisoner who can already be trusted to be reported to workplace of work assignment without the presence of guard, and they wear brown uniform. So security and control of prisoners. So under the section 4 to our Constitution, the mandate of Bureau of Correction, the Bureau shall be in charge of safekeeping and institutional enforcement programs to the national inmates sentenced to more than 3 years through progressive and effective and efficient administration. Safekeeping of national inmates, compliance with established United Nations standard minimum rules of the treatment of prisoners, UNSMRTP. The safekeeping of the inmates shall include, first is the descent and adequate provision of basic necessities such as shelter, water, foods, water, clothing, and medicine. Second is proper observance of prescribed privilege such as regulated communication and visitation. Third is the patient processing and necessary document. The requirement and record for the time release, the processing of this documentary requirement shall be handled by the Director for the Inmate Document and Record of DIDR villages. So the core and objects of these safekeeping provisions is to the accord to the dignity of man to inmates while serving sentence in accordance with the basis for humans understanding of presidential proclamation number of 551 series of 1995 and with the UNSRMRTP rules of 60. So the P, security of nation inmate, the complementary component of safekeeping in the custodial is security, which is ensured that the custodial function security inmate security inmate include the protection against illegal organized armed group which have a capacity of launching an attack any prison camp to the national penitentiary to rescue the convicted comrade or to pursue amass firearms issued to a correctional officer. So the security of inmates shall be undertaken by the custodial force consisting of correction officer with the ranking system and salary grades similar to its counterpart in the GMP. The circumferential security activities to be undertaken are first is the proper custody, second is the implementation of prison laws and regulation to include the prevention of prison violence and crimes. Third is efficient recovery and fugitives. So the core security objectives such as complete incapacitated inmates from the further committing criminal acts, and we have the total cut off from their criminals network or contact in the free society while serving the sentence at Bucor to ultimately protected the society against crime as provided for the rules of rule number 58 of UNSRMRTP. So next is the care and treatment of the prisoners. So C, the reformation of national inmates and the circumstances reformation program which will be institutionalized by Bucor for the inmates shall be comprised of the following. First is the moral and spiritual program. So This refer to the moral and spiritual values, formation of the inmates which shall be institutionalized by the Directorate of Moral and Spiritual Welfare, so DSMSW, which is include the practice of one's religions and beliefs. So next is the educational and training program. So it's referred to the administration of the formal and non-formal education and skills development of the inmates, which shall be instituted by the Directorate for the Education and Training of DET. Next is work and livelihood program. So this refer to the administration of skill development programs on work and livelihood to achieve self-sufficiency of inmates in the prisons, community, and for income generation for the agency. So next is the sports and recreation program. So this refer to the administration of physical and recreational engagement of achieve mental alertness of physical agility in the spirit of sportsmanship. This shall be institutionalized by the Director for the Sport and Recreation, or DSR. Next is health and welfare program. So refer to the administration of proper distribution, hygiene, sanitation, cleanliness, and promotion of good health to inmates. This also include the appropriate provision of medical care or hospitalization of the sick, mentally impaired, old age, and disabled inmates. So next is behavioral. Next is the behavioral modification program. This refer to the administration of programs for the character information of the inmates necessary for effective interpersonal relationship in the prison community. This program also include the therapeutic community. So our next topic is the release of prison good conduct time allowance, or GCTA. So under the Republic Act number 10592, or the good conduct time allowance, the GCTA law allows for reduction of sentence of a person deprived of liberty, depending on how will they able by rules and regulation. So inside any penal institution like BGMP or Bucor, or other municipal or city or regional jail, center, or any other local jail, this law is relation of to Republic. So who grants time allowance for good conduct of inmates? So the Bureau of Correction. So who grant time allowance whether lawfully justified? The Director of the Bureau of Correction, the Chief of the Bureau of Jail Management and the Penology, and or the Warden of the Provincial District or Municipal or City Jail shall grant allowance for good conduct time allowance for the good attitude for their inmates. So how is GCTA computed? So how is GCTA computed? So, under the Section 3 of Republic Act 10592 provides the guidelines for the calculating the GCTA of inmates for the first 2 years of imprisonment. For each month of good behavior of 20 days will be deducted from the total sentence. So, for the 11th and successive years, a month of good behavior equals 30 days deduction. So, is the GCT applicable in BGMP? So, the Bureau of Correction, or BOC, or Bucor, and the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, or BGMP, have started implementing the updated Uniform Manual for the Republic Act number 10592, the expanded good conduct time allowance of GCTA. So what is special allowance uh, for loyalty? So special time allowance for loyalty, deduction of 1/5 of the period of his sentence shall be granted to any prisoners who have evaded his preventive imprisonment or the service of his sentence under the circumstances mentioned in Article number 158 of this code. Gives himself up to the authorized within 48 hours. Who is the father of parole? So Alexander Makunukchi. So he is the father of the parole. Origin of the parole of Alexander Marucci, Norfolk Island of the father of parole, E. Corstero. So next is the prohibited act subject to disciplinary action. So disciplinary control purpose. So effort shall be made to instill the mind of the all PDL or concept that self disciplinary racial characterized will adjustment person. So guideline. So guideline in the disciplinary control. So guideline in disciplinary control on PDL shall be different to ensure safety and good order in prison. So breaches of disciplinary shall be handled objectively and sanctions shall be executed by firmness and justice. So, due process according to PDL. So, due process according to the PDL, every breach of discipline shall be reported proper prison authorized. So, the hearing of PDL shall be given due to the process of before he is punished. So, ignorance of prison rules shall not be counted or considered as excuses for its non-observation. Prohibited acts. The informed act shall be prohibited act. The following act shall be subject for PDL to disciplinary action. So first is participation in illegal sexual acts of placing itself in a situation for behavior that will encourage the commission of illegal sexual acts. So next is openly publicly displaying the programs, picture drawing, and or other pictorial representation of prisoners in a sexual acts or actual or simulated masturbation, executory function, or absence of exhibition of genitals. So the processing article which the pose of threat of prison security to the safety and well-being is PDL and staff. So which is the giving gift of selling and engaging the barter with the prison personnel. So encouraging or insulting the religious belief of groups. So next is entering the personal service or the acquiring personal service from the fellow PDL gambling. So next is changing his uniform with another PDL. So that is very prohibited inside the prison. So wearing a uniform other than those officially issued to him. So next is using profane, vulgar, or obscene language or making loud or unusual noise of any kind. So giving next prohibited is the loitering in the prison compound or reservation. So next is giving a gift or providing materials or other assistant fellow PDL or to the prison administration or in general. So next is engaging in any provide work of the benefits of prison officer or employee. So next is controlling the activities of others. So that is very repeated also inside the BU4 or other jail facilities in our country. Except an organization, groups are recognized by a prisoner authorities. Next is tattooing. So that is very deal for the himself allowing himself to be tattooed on any parts of his body. So the removal or altering tattoos may only be performed by the prison medical officer upon prior approval by the superintendent. So next is disobeying legal order in prison. So authorized promptly and consciously. So next is threatening orally or in writing the life of any employees or prison official. So next is the possessing any communication device like circular phone, telephone, pager or video transceiver. So next is constructing, renovating of repairing with a personal fund and prison building on structure.